where I am. God is where I stand. God is standing strong where I breathe. God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing. God is where I dance. Joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, for where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak truth is, where I work, love is my career, and where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me, oh, oh, do do do, where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, my dance, wherever I go. Where I pray and take and give and live. God is, God is, God is, God is.
On the breeze in the trees, there am I swaying. I am as free as the wind. On the wings of a dove, I am flying high above. Nothing can keep me earthbound. There is a freedom, there is a call. children, there am I playing. I am the joy of all life. There is a freedom, there is a call, there is a feeling you're one with it
Good morning and welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. Happy New Year! Yoo-hoo! This is the first Sunday in 2022 and are we excited? Everything's different now, right? Well, it's on its way. So happy to welcome you. I'm Maxine Kay, and I am delighted to be with this beloved spiritual family. And I'm delighted to welcome everyone who is here this morning with us in person, as well as everyone who is with us virtually, whether you are on FaceTube or YouTime. However you get here, we're happy that you're joining with us. This is a place that we love to participate in because it's where we teach the principles of science of mind as beautifully taught by Ernest Holmes about 100 years ago. And so we're so grateful that we have an opportunity to learn these principles that change our lives and change the world. And we're so grateful that we have each other to support one another as we utilize these beautiful spiritual tools for human means of all kinds of challenges that we may have. The tools remain the same because God remains the same. So we give thanks for our opportunity to be together, to play together, to laugh together, sometimes to cry together, and to support each other, remembering who we are and reminding each other who we are. For we're in the process, you might say we're in the God business of awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. So what a great way to begin the year. This is good, and I'm delighted that we're all together here because we're in the process of co-creating a world that works for all. We also have a purpose statement, and you know that one too, don't you? Would you say it with me? Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And so I'd like to welcome virtually Margaret Owens, who is going to be singing The Thing Itself.
The thing itself is beautiful. The thing itself is magnificent. The thing itself goes by many names. Some people call it God, Buddha, Allah, Muhammad. Call it Father or a four-speed blender. You can call it Mother if that don't send you on a bender. You can call it power or something gentle. I got a method to recall the fundamentals. It's A, absolute, E, energy, I, infinite, O, oneness, and you. Why? still divine when you're pouty. You rage and you dream, you hope and you scream, you curse and you fear, and it's always there, because it's A, absolute, E, energy, I, infinite, O, oneness, and you is universal. And then there is why, because why, because why, because there's you. Let's not forget about you.
I am delighted to see we have a teenager here today. That would be you. And all the rest of the young'uns out there listening, I'd like to have a moment with you. And you know, it seems like we had several people become teenagers recently. And that's really great. So when we're all back, you can have your group again. That's going to be wonderful. So, Happy New Year! Thank you. Funny, it looks a lot like last year, doesn't it? The weather's about the same. I hope you had a nice Christmas.
Yeah, I got an electric bass.
You got an electric bass. Did you hear that, all those kids out there in the world? Lilia got an electric bass. Woo! Are you taking lessons?
Yeah, starting on Wednesday.
All right, that's exciting. We will look forward to your first performance. If we're invited, I hope we are. How cool. Oh, I'm excited about that. I love all the musical people we have in our community here, and all ages community of people who just love to play music, and some who simply appreciate it, and that's good too. So a brand new year. So we had a lot of things happen last year that we rather hadn't, because there was so much the same as the previous year, right? We've been walking through a lot, haven't we? Everybody, all ages people have been walking through, going through, and as we like to say here, growing through together. Because we've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. You know, I know a lot about Zoom now that I never thought I would ever need to know, and I'm delighted and grateful for it. So I'm liking to look back to see what are the things out of these challenging times that really were gifts, and that we can take into the future. For instance, we, you know, like Jeff, our wonderful producer, they put together he and your dad did some really creative things here. So we have these wonderful cameras now so that we can send our message out to the world every week. And that's going to continue. We hadn't planned to do that particularly. Now we have it. It's a great gift. So as we're releasing, because you're going to have, you could see the opportunity to release a lot of things from last year, that we're also embracing the gifts and giving thanks for them that we have received. That kind of clears the slate, doesn't it? So that we can move forward into the new year. And we have a lot of unresolved happenings in the world. We have a lot of unanswered questions, but when we realize that we have a power within us that is greater than anything that's happening out there, and that we have choice and we can make a difference in our new year, that's pretty terrific. And that's what we're all about. And I'm so grateful that you know that. Yes! And so, Happy New Year and happy, happy, happy new experiences. And that's true for everybody out there, whether you got an electric bass for Christmas or not. Okay. So thank you for staying here with us today. Now that you're taller than your mother, that's probably a good idea.
Taller than half the people in my family. So
You're taller than half the people in your family.
I'm never going to reach my cousin's height, though.
Why, how tall is your cousin?
Oh, he's like 6'3".
Well, you know, dreams do come true.
Not this one.
That's awesome. It is really good to see you. And it's good to see all the rest of you in my imagination. Well, I think this would be a good time for meditation, huh? Shall we? Thank you. Let's just breathe in that deep, precious breath of spirit, allowing it to circulate through our bodies, renewing us. As we release that breath, we're also letting go of anything that doesn't belong to us. We allow in the next inhalation that brilliant breath of spirit to move through our emotions and to bring calm and tranquility as we exhale any type of concern or anxiety. And we breathe in another holy breath and we allow that beautiful presence to circulate through our minds, to calm and steady them, to open them to new brilliant truths. And we exhale any false beliefs that no longer serve us. Now let's just continue allowing that beautiful breath of spirit to move through us physically, emotionally, and mentally, clearing out the cobwebs, allowing us to be free of anything that never was the truth about us. Now allow that breath to be very comfortable and natural. And imagine that the breath is a bridge upon which we are now walking and entering the heart of our hearts. We come to this serene, sacred space within our hearts with an open heart and an open mind and a readiness and a willingness to touch something that is eternal, beyond the conditional, to be received in love and a holy embrace. And we simply allow ourselves to be held, to be nurtured, to be cherished. And we listen to that sweet, sweet voice within that says, "Thou art my beloved one, in whom I am well pleased. Thou art my beloved one, in whom I am well pleased." And if God be for us, with this divine presence, the holy breath itself is loving and supporting us, there is nothing that can be against us. And so we enter even more deeply into the center of our hearts, and allow ourselves to be held tenderly and securely in the eternal reality of love and wisdom. And as we enter even more deeply, we realize that we can think about the external conditions of the world without any attachment to them, simply realizing that each one is a call for prayer. And so the idea of them, without the feeling of them, we take with us into this sacred space. And we allow them to be illuminated by the inner light. And that inner light burns away anything that is less than the truth. And that light warms us and renews us and allows us to relinquish any attachment we may have had to any condition in our lives or in the world. And there is a sweet, sweet experience of being whole and complete, recognizing the temporary challenges and realizing that they have come to pass. They did not come to stay. And so if there is any question, any concern, anything we are ready to heal, let's bring that front and center in this sweet space of infinite possibilities, and invite that inner presence, whether we call it the Buddha or the Christ or the Atman or the breath of life itself, and simply offer this up on the high altar of consciousness. Let's go into the silence for a moment with this question or with this challenge and offer it up on the high consciousness altar itself. Now, understanding that on the deepest level it has been dissolved and resolved, we simply give thanks for this internal power that is greater than any circumstance, choosing now to bring the awareness of it into this beautiful baby new year. We're grateful, and we remember that all is well, all is well. On the deepest, deepest level, all is well. Now I would like to invite our practitioner intern at a bit of a distance to open us up with a spiritual mind treatment, Bo Smith.
Good morning. Let's continue in the consciousness that was just established with Dr. Maxine's opening meditation. I invite you to close your eyes again if you are comfortable doing so. And I will state this treatment in the first person and invite you to take it on for yourself if you so wish. I take a deep breath in and then release it as I allow myself to relax into this moment. And what I recognize to be the truth about life is that it is omnipresent. This life is everywhere, as all things and in all things. This life is whole and complete as it is. It is love and wisdom, truth and beauty, and peace and power and light and love. And this life, this light, is who I am in this moment as well. The very being of who I am, who I identify myself as. I am this life, this light, this love, this power and peace and beauty, this joy, this truth and wisdom. As I identify myself with these qualities of spirit, these qualities of life, I do so mindful that at depth, these qualities express themselves clearly through me, as me. In this moment, at the beginning of a new year, I declare with intention, with passion, that who I am and how I demonstrate myself in the world is one of peace and poise and power. Who I am in the world is a beacon of light for those that may wish to follow an example of spiritual abundance, of whole healthiness, of complete satisfaction, of beautiful personification of life. Who I am at depth is who everyone else is as well. And as I serve as an example for myself and for others, I do so mindful of the gratitude that flows through me as this spirit. I am so grateful that the truth of who I am is the truth of everyone in whom I come into contact with. All of my sisters, all of my brothers, all of my fellow beings of light and life. in deep gratitude for this truth now demonstrating easily, effortlessly, with passion and compassion. I release my word into the ever-present law of life, also an integral part of who I am. I release this truth into that law, knowing that it knows what to do, how to do it, to bring through me the perfect demonstration that I am in this moment. And in gratitude, I do release, I let go, and I allow myself to be so in this time. And so it is.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Bo. And will you repeat with me our affirmation for today? There is God and nothing else, and I celebrate my individual conscious center in this divine life. Now, this is the point at which we delight in having a demonstration of good. It's the expression through one of our beautiful people of how something in our principle, our philosophy, has shown up in their lives, usually to benefit themselves and always to benefit others. I would like to invite up to speak with you about her demonstration a longtime beautiful member of this center. I think she was a member here when God was a child. And I am so delighted to welcome our beloved Jo Lurquin. Thank you.
Good morning, all. You know you have to be worried when the demonstration is on 4 pieces of paper and cards. So, okay. So, this wonderful demonstration of the power of spirit started over 5 years ago. And at that point, I was coming up on a milestone birthday. That's one of those ones where there's a 0 at the end, and it wasn't 40. No, it was a few more than that. And so, as one does, I was reflecting on what my life was all about and how I was conducting it, what I was bringing out to the world, and how I would continue in this life for as long as I'm supposed to. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm involved in a lot of volunteer activities. I'm very blessed. My husband, Joe, and I help out in a lot of different activities. And at the church and with our family, with Penn State, with a museum, all things we're very excited about. But I was looking for something a little more one-on-one, personal ways that I could move forward in the world and maybe help a few other people. So I was affirming, using affirmative prayer, very powerful stuff, that there was good in the world that I could do. And I was going to recognize when it came to me, because that's important too. Spirit doesn't always just hit you upside the head and say, this is yours. No, sometimes you have to really be open and recognize it. So, of course, as Spirit works very quickly sometimes, just a few days later, I was in a writing class that I like to take at Barnes & Noble locally. And our wonderful leader, Professor Howard Rice, came into the class. And what he did was very unusual. He handed each of my classmates these little cards, business-sized cards. And so, of course, we do what you do. You look at them and you turn them over and you think, whoa, short message, powerful message. The message is, you matter. And so it seems that his daughter, Dr. Cheryl Rice, had received a card. Someone had given it to her, and it really struck a chord for her. And she decided that this was a passion for her. It became one instantly. I was a little slower to catch on. But she decided to set up something called the You Matter Marathon. And all you had to do to be a part of this was go on the website and give them your address, and they would send to you, no charge, 30 of these magical cards that say you matter. And the idea was that during the month of November, you were asked to hand out these 30 cards. And you could do it any way you wanted. You could talk to people one-on-one. You could leave it under the windshield wiper. You could put it in with your bills. You could do it any way you wanted. Well, Spirit said, this is you, Joe. This is what you're supposed to be doing next. This is how you're going to connect. And this is what you wanted. And so it was a little awkward at first because, I don't know the cashier at the grocery store, and I've got something for you. And so it was awkward, but I got past that. I thought, okay, as long as I keep smiling, and there weren't masks back then. And so I was good with this. Well, of course, I gave out the cards in the first couple of days. So I ordered more. And then I thought when the end of November came, I can't give this up. The responses were incredible. People need this message. They need to connect. They need to know they matter. And so I continued. I've ordered thousands of cards now. I continue with this. I'm now in my 6th year of giving out this important message, and I do it all year round. The responses, sometimes there's tears, and they could be mine, they could be the recipients. I often hear, you do not know what this means to me today. I really needed this message. And our founder of the You Matter Marathon, Dr. Cheryl Rice, has done TED Talks. She's been interviewed by local news outlets. She's branched out into something called Stay You Matter, which is a suicide intervention prevention cause. She's just amazing, and I'm just very pleased to be a part of this group and this message, because so many people really need to hear it. In the You Matter Marathon vision, they state, we envision a world where individuals naturally and regularly affirm the significance and value of one another. That sounds kind of science of mind, right? The You Matter Marathon is a global initiative that creates positive connections within and between individuals and communities. We believe that the world would be a more peaceful and joyful place if every person knew they mattered. How could I not be part of this? And so now, 5 years later, the You Matter Marathon group, we are now well over 3,000 people and organizations in 92 countries around the world and all 50 states. And many of us do this all year round. We just feel very empowered to be able to have this connection with people. And I feel really drawn to people who need this message. And so I thank Spirit and this teaching. And if you'd like to know more, you can talk to me about it. Of course, you can go on their website, youmattermarathon.com, and their sideline is no running required, which is, you can see how I got into that. And I also invite you, because it's a new year, new you, affirm for yourself whatever good is coming your way, because it's just right out there and it's ready to come. And as you're affirming this and knowing this, be ready for things to change for the good. If you need a little help with this, a little push along the way, you can always, of course, come here. You can visit with us virtually, Facebook and YouTube. You can work with a practitioner, have a fabulous practitioner team. This is the public service commercial part of the program. And Dr. Maxine didn't suggest that I say this. This is me. And then also, one of my favorite inspirational points in my day is when I tune into Facebook or YouTube, and it can be really late at night, and I get to hear Reverend Dr. Maxine or Reverend Mike and their love notes. So that's like this kick that I really need to be inspired. And they do these no matter where they are. They're on vacation. They're at a seminar. It doesn't matter. They're out late at night, and we've kept them out late at night sometimes. And they go home and they do their love notes. So I would encourage you to listen in on them, because they're all archived at the cslphilly.org website. So check it all out, and thank you. Happy New Year.
That was wonderful, Joe. Thank you so much. What an inspiration you are. And how beautiful. Did that plant some seeds for you about what you and I can do to make a difference in our world? Just answering the simple call, because she put the question out there and was open-hearted enough to receive it. You matter a lot, Lady Joe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, we got a brand new year, and that means there's a brand new Centers for Spiritual Living theme, which for 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Living Everyday Wonder. What a great idea for every day of this brand new year. We also have a theme for the month of January, because the month of January is when we go back to our basics. And so the first 4 Sundays of this month are covering the first 4 introductory chapters of the Science of Mind textbook. And so our theme for the month of January is beautiful basics, and they are beautiful basics. So today we're talking about all directions point to God, both transcendent and immanent. Whether we're looking out there or we're looking in here, it's all God. And so this first chapter, which is called The Thing Itself, is reminding us that there is one power, one presence, and it doesn't matter what you call it, which is why Ernest Holmes said the thing itself. And he did not make up that. It was philosophers from centuries before that who would also call this unnamed, unknown, and yet everywhere energetic presence the thing. And it seems odd for some people who have come from perhaps a standard Brands religion, and that's a very okay phrase to use, where God was up in the sky somewhere and was like a big, powerful superhuman, maybe a Marvel comics kind of character. And it is, and yet just because it's the thing itself, just because it's the presence, the divine life, or whatever we choose to call it, creative intelligence, doesn't mean that it's not also warm and fuzzy, because it is. Because there is the personal and there is the impersonal. And we're going to get into that very shortly. Ernest Holmes says, "We may stumble, but there is always that eternal voice forever whispering and sings." We've been doing a little stumbling. I've been doing some stumbling. Yesterday, it took me 4 tries to finally get the order of service right that I was sending to the team here. I was like, oh no, that's not the right last name for that singer. And I did it 4 times. And I'm not even sure I got it right now. Is it okay back there? We stumble, we make mistakes. And that's the human condition. And isn't it fun? Ta-da! You know, I had a lot of ta-das yesterday. And it's very good to be able to smile at them and to laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself, as Will Rogers suggested that we should do at least once before 10 o'clock in the morning. I have no problem with that. So, yes, we stumble, we make mistakes, but there's that eternal presence always within us, always around us, everywhere present that sings and says, you are what I am that thou art. There's something wonderful about returning to the source when we get caught up in something out there, whether it's our own personal challenges or whether it's conditions in the world, whether it's a disease, whether it is a potential war, whether it's people not liking each other and being mean to each other. There are kind of terrible things that take place out there. And it came to pass. It didn't come to stay, it came to pass. We've got to remember it came to pass. And how beautiful it is to return to that place where finally all directions are pointing to God. And we're stopping the focus of our intention and attention on something that is unlovely and temporary. You know about the month of January and how it got its name, right? The Roman god Janus, remember? That's not Janice, it's Janus. The Roman god Janus was able to do something very, very special. He could look in two directions at the same time. Past, future. Yesterday, tomorrow. 2021, 2022. Well, you and I have that same capability, haven't we? That's what we're going to do today, of course, with our annual Burning Bowl. And that is looking at the past long enough to get the gifts from it, to do the forgiveness work, perhaps, that must be done, and ultimately to establish new intentions for the tomorrows yet to come. You see, we are aware that God is everywhere present. All there is, creative, intelligent activity, is the basis of this fabulous universe upon universe upon universe. And so, whether we are speaking about the immanent God or the transcendent God, it is all the same, because the innermost God and the outermost God is one God, one presence, one divine life, one. We're taking a look back in the rearview mirror of 2021 today. I know many of us have already been doing that. We had a wonderful New Year's Eve day meditation here. It was so sweet. Reverend Mike established this. I think we may have a tradition now for every year. Because you see, when we were on the West Coast, it was 4 o'clock in the morning for Greenwich Mean Time. And that is mean time. Here, it's 7 a.m. Who's not up at 7 a.m.? Put your hands down. And so we gathered at 7 o'clock, just before 7 o'clock, and Reverend Mike arranged a beautiful circle of chairs, socially distanced, with a candle in the middle, and he brought peace prayers from many different faith traditions. And there were just enough for the number of people there for each one to read one of these peace prayers from another tradition. And it was just so heartening, because we could find loving truth in each one of them. We felt so connected with everybody in the world. And that's what it was about, because it was a world peace meditation. And yes, John Randolph Price began it years ago. And yes, it was online so that you could join visually or virtually for that one that came from Centers for Spiritual Living. But those of us who were here that morning, wasn't it sweet? Wasn't it wonderful? And then we all went out to breakfast afterwards, or those of us who could. And what we were doing was establishing something so wonderful within our own consciousness. I, for one, and I believe others may have felt the same way, did not want to leave. It felt so good, just immersing ourselves in that experience of deep peace and infinite possibility. Now, one person can do that all by him or herself. Or you could get together in a group and it's like there's a greater opening for the presence, like the work that Lady Jo is doing, where there's a greater opening for divine human connection. And so immersing ourselves in deep peace is a beautiful way to walk out into the world. It's a beautiful way to take a brief look at the yesterdays and at the year before, and maybe the 2 years before, and give thanks that that which is temporary is indeed temporary. That which is eternal indeed is eternal. And so we look in the rearview mirror just long enough. You don't drive along looking in the rearview mirror all the time, do you? It's not recommended. But a glance every now and then, just to get our bearings, isn't that what it's about? Just to see how far back a car is or where we've come from. And then we are focusing our attention ahead. A glance back, that's what we're doing. And that's a very healthy thing to do. And then we get to set a new course for the new year, for what is yet to come. And how do we do that? Well, we use the creative intelligence that is within us. And we review the basics of the good book. I can thump it. That's okay. So, I'd like to read you this right from the book, from the good book on page 26, in the first introductory chapter, The Thing Itself. The study of science of mind is the study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. See, spirit, mind, infinite intelligence, call it what you will, it doesn't care. The thing itself is omnipresent, omniscient, omniactive, overspanning all of eternity within and all around us. When we finally get that, everything else becomes possible, because we've then released the human erroneous thinking and the feeling, the emotions that have gotten in the way, because we've believed too much in the out there, instead of remembering that this is within us, it's around us. And no matter the direction of our attention, God is there. Immanent, transcendent. So this is the day to focus on eternal truths, to bring our attention back to this reality. God is all there is. You and I are individualized expressions of that divine life. And even when we forget it, you ever forget it? Even when we forget it, the divine dwells within us and is forever ready to come forth into our lives. Isn't that the great news? This is the good news. Even when we are not consciously conscious of it, it is still loving and breathing us. You know? Are you really in charge of your life? Do you really have to make everything happen? When you go to sleep at night, do you instruct your lungs how to breathe and your heart how to continue to beat and the blood to move through your veins and so forth? I'm so relieved that we don't have to do that. You see, there is a creative intelligence at work within our bodies, within our emotions, within our minds. And the great, great news is it's ours to use, because we do get to set our intentions. The universal creative process is alive within us, at work within each of us. For each of us is a center of divine consciousness. Woo! Look who you are. Look what is possible. We're remembering. We're remembering. Ernest Holmes, on page 28 of the good book, says, a prayer is a movement of thought within the mind of the one praying along a definite line of meditation, that is, for a specific purpose. See, there's a difference between meditation and spiritual mind treatment. In meditation, it's about listening. It's about opening our hearts and experiencing the presence. In spiritual mind treatment, which I recommend you do after your meditation because you're already connected consciously, in spiritual mind treatment, we are working for a specific purpose in any of the 4 major areas of the human condition. And I haven't yet found any human condition that doesn't kind of fit into one of those 4 areas, which is health and wealth and love and creative expression. They're all in there somewhere. And sometimes we have challenges in each of those areas. And sometimes we have 3 of them really going great, and then there's one that's not quite up to par. That's where we focus our attention then. Or we work with a spiritual mind assistant called a practitioner to do that. So how does this work? Well, principles and laws need to be discovered before we can use them, right? And that's the wonderful thing that Ernest Holmes was doing when he was studying all of the ancients. You see, New Thought is ancient thought, really, isn't it? It's ancient wisdom. And so he didn't create anything new, but he brought together the greatest ideas of philosophers and religionists and people who were thinking and experiencing, both those who understand about laws and those who were the mystics, and brought it all together in such a way that it's a very useful philosophy. So these principles, these laws need to be discovered, and he was discovering through his research all of those years how we can utilize them. I mean, look at the laws of electricity. Before we understood them, we weren't able to watch television. Well, maybe we should go back a bit. In any case, I digress. We have light in here, which we wouldn't have had until those who were studying the laws of electricity found out how to make it work. How about aeronautics? My mother, who was 96 when she passed in 1994, and I was right there holding her, it was sweet. Yeah, it was great. She nearly spanned 3 centuries, you know, because she was born in 1898. And so she got to see from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles to these things that were flying up in the sky eventually. And then into space travel. And I learned a lot from her about, oh, so that's what's happening now, flexibility. She got to see the amazing new inventions that would come out because people were discovering and making use of laws and principles. That's what we do in the science of mind. Mathematics, of course, the same way. So what we have learned is that mind, the infinite mind, is twofold. It's not 2 minds, it's one mind. And it has 2 ways of operating, 2 aspects, the conscious and the subconscious, the objective and the subjective. And this is true of the infinite. That's how things come into being. The self-contemplation of spirit, the idea, the conscious idea in the infinite mind of the divine, then through the law of mind, produces whatever has been focused upon. Now, you and I, as conscious, creative, intelligent centers of this one mind, do the same thing, but on a human level, on an individual level. So we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. They're not separate, but the conscious is spirit. And in the area of the subconscious is where the law works. So here's the farmer planting the seed in the soil. Our thought is the idea, and thought is creative. Because creative, intelligent activity is a work within us all, because that's what we came from. One life, one mind, it's all divine, and you and I are manifestations of it. Therefore, we utilize the same principle. We utilize the same creative, intelligent process that the infinite does in our own human way. And yet we're not just human, you know, we are spirit incarnate in this human form. Isn't it fun? Most of the time it's wonderful fun. And so when we set our intention in a particular way, we are consciously, this is spirit, we are consciously focusing upon that which is new and hasn't been brought forth yet. We're beginning to create a new spiritual prototype, a new model in our minds. And when we do this, we then let it into the subconscious mind, which then goes to work on it, and the law produces after its own kind. Our conscious mind is part of the great conscious mind of the infinite. Our subconscious mind is part of the great subconscious mind of the infinite. Therefore, no, we're not having to make anything happen. We're simply speaking our word, accepting it, inviting the power within us to work, and letting it work. We'll be speaking more as the weeks go by about how spiritual mind treatment works. That's basically how it works, is that we're using this beautiful creative intelligence and we're formulating and forming something new that wasn't there before. Isn't that exciting? It wasn't there before, which means that we have to look back long enough to say, okay, that's how it was. I accept my gifts from it, and now I am ready, along with the creative intelligence within me, to produce something new, something beautiful, something I desire now in my life. Sometimes I like to use the analogy of an automobile when we think about the conscious and the subconscious. Look at the engine in your car. It's powerful, isn't it? And because of its power, as long as it's well tended and all, because of its power, it can take you anywhere you want to go. You, however, as the driver, get to determine the direction that you will travel. So I equate that the engine with the subconscious mind, which has great power, because that's where the law is operative. It has great wisdom and intelligence. It knows what to do. But you're the driver. So you're behind the wheel, and you choose whether you're going to go to Massachusetts or Fort Lauderdale. You get to choose if you're going to go to Montco or Delco. And there's more power in the choice, isn't there? Sure, there's a power within the law. There's a power within the subconscious mind. But the greater conscious power, which is spirit, is that which makes the selection. And that's what you and I get to do. So let us not forget that we are dynamic, that our choices matter, just like you matter. Ernest Holmes said, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. He brought it all back into, no, you don't need to do all these things, don't need to get on your knees. If it helps you, great. There's something kind of wonderful occasionally when you're thinking, how am I going to get through this, to get on your knees and just give it all up, sure. But we don't need to do any of those things. What we do need to do is look at the direction of our intention and our attention. We learn how to live by thinking differently. Now that's not easy for some folks. And everybody here and everybody listening has stepped up to the realization that our thoughts are powerful and creative. And we want to choose them carefully. So imagine discovering and utilizing this power for good. You've been doing this. We're going to do it more effectively, more harmoniously, more lovingly, peacefully, and powerfully. Imagine discovering and using this creative power all over the world. Imagine people awakening to their spiritual magnificence and applying this power for good in their own homes, in their communities, in the world itself. We must have this creative imagination, because guess what we do? The divine creative imagination has imbued us with this same beautiful creative imagination. So let's use it. I'm going to read to you from the good book now. And I'm grateful that I have the eyes to do it. No glasses. There is a power in the universe that honors our faith in it. There is a law in the universe which exacts the uttermost farthing. We all wish to feel that the power behind everything is good as well as creative, an eternal and changeless intelligence in which we live and move and have our being. Intuitively, we sense that everyone in our native state is some part or manifestation of this eternal principle, and that the entire problem of limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty is not God ordained, but it is the result of ignorance. It has been written that the truth shall make us free, provided we know the truth. And we note that the evolution of our consciousness brings with it the acquisition of new powers and higher possibilities. This is exciting stuff. And you know, the people who have been reading and studying the Signs of Mind textbook for the last year and a half, every Saturday morning with Reverend Mike, reading it sentence by sentence, page by page, chapter by chapter, getting it because we look at it, we read it, we ask questions about it, we ask ourselves, we share with each other what's going on and what it could mean to us. It brings it alive. Read this book sometime out loud. And don't hurry with it. You know, read a line at a time and go, what does that mean to me? Is that something I can apply in my life? Better yet, tune in on Saturday morning. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government. Oh, I love that idea, don't you? That divine government, and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. The finite alone has wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose. Thank you, Ralph Waldo Emerson. God is always God, no matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be. There is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. That's the voice we're listening to now. We're not listening to all that. We go blah, 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 blah. We are listening to the inner voice. We're listening to the sweet song of spirit. So let's maintain the direction of our intention on truth. We are learning to trust. We are learning to utilize these beautiful principles for great good and greater good. This is our teaching, and we're so grateful for it. I can't imagine not living from the heart of the presence of the divine. I can't imagine not remembering to utilize this beautiful law of sowing and reaping to bring great good into our lives and into the lives of ultimately everyone in the world. All directions point to God. Let's continue allowing ourselves to keep that direction really, really clear in our mind. Will you say with me, there is only one life.
There is only one life.
That life is God's life.
That life is God's life.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
That life is my life now.
That life is my life now.
It is the only life there is to have or to be.
The only life to have or to be.
And so, my beloveds, I'll give you shorter sentences. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. Thank you. Thank you, loved ones. Thank you, loved ones. And we're going to have our offertory now, and that will be followed by the announcements, and then what you've all been waiting for, right? The burning bowl. So let's take our gift in our hands, remembering that our source is infinite. This is an abundant universe, therefore I declare this to be an abundant year for each of us and for our beloved community itself. So as we prepare to give our gifts, however we give them, there's a few ways up there. And some have already done that online, etc. Bless you. Some of us like to give it here in the beautiful crystal bowls. It's a beautiful experience for me to remember my source. And so we might take our gifts in our hands or to our hearts. And will you join with me in the prosperity affirmation? I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. One life. There is only one holy substance flowing in and throughout creation. And right here in this very moment, we are an expression. We are a beloved expression, born of perfection. Let's raise our hands and celebrate because we know there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is my life now. Life. There is only one holy substance flowing in and throughout creation. And right here in this very moment, you are an expression. You are a beloved expression, born of perfection. So raise your hands and celebrate because you know there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is your life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is our life now. Life. What? 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 Life. What? 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 There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. My life is God's life. One life, God's life. My life is God's life. One life, God's life. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is perfect. That life is my life.
Welcome, everyone. We are thrilled to have you join us today, wherever you are in the world. Who are you? Who am I? Oh! I am Suzanne. How are you? I am Suzanne, and I am a member of your board of trustees. Now I can welcome you wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Maxine, for that beautiful talk, and I want you to know that you matter. For those of you who are here with us today, the bookstore is open, so be sure to stop by and acquaint yourself with our many spiritual books and inspirational gifts. The January 2022 Science of Mind magazine is available today. It's a great book. I love reading it. And if you are watching us and enjoying our Sunday celebrations, love notes are on our Facebook or YouTube channel. Be sure to like, to subscribe, and to share with others. When you subscribe, you will receive notices when our Sunday celebration and our daily love notes are uploaded. Our celebrations begin every Sunday at 10:30 a.m., and we also are holding a meditation session in our meditation room starting at 10 a.m. We will continue to live stream for those who choose to watch from the comfort of your homes. And as a reminder to view from home, just visit our website at www.cslphilly.org and click on the orange Watch Live button to see all our virtual love notes and past Sunday celebrations. We wish you a very happy, prosperous, healthy, and fulfilling new year. And that's it for our today's announcements. And I wish you a beautiful day, and remember, you too matter.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Suzanne. Here you go. Thank you. You started something, Lady Joe. We love that. Oh, and thank you so much to Bo for a beautiful treatment, to Lady Joe Lurquin for a wonderful demonstration, and for all of you for being a part of our hearts and our lives. I will mention that next week we'll have the specific announcement, but there will be 2 virtual on Zoom workshops this month, the 12th, and then I'll repeat it on the 26th. It'll be a short workshop. It'll be about deepening treatment. If that interests you, you'll get more information about it, and we'll have an entire workshop, short time, on the one night, and then we'll have the same one for those who can't make that one on the one 2 weeks later. And I'll also be starting a class, an accredited class in February. So stay curious and tune in, because I'll tell you more about that next time as well. Thank you all. You're wonderful. Now what you've all been waiting for. And I will tell you ahead of time. First of all, did everyone get a little slip of flash paper and a pencil? If you did not, please make sure you get that, because you can't be in the procession, or you could, but it wouldn't be any fun if you didn't have anything to burn up. So each of you a piece of paper and a pencil, and if you've not done so, write down something that you're ready to release from 2021. Take a moment before you do and give great gratitude for it and all the gifts that have come from it. But then write down what you're ready to release. We purposely give you small pieces of flash paper so you don't write down the whole year. Now, I will tell you that a couple of things. One is I'll show you, in fact. There'll be some music playing, and you'll come up 2 by 2 maybe, get on the ark. Never mind. And you'll simply barely touch. Now, these happen to be pretty hot flash papers this year. Not sure why, but we tested it out. So that means don't throw it up in the air, as much fun as that is. But just barely touch and toss it in the bowl. Just put it in the bowl. And then when you've completed that and you walk on away, first pick up a fortunate cookie. Our tradition here is that we get the fortune cookies either plain with nothing in them, which we weren't able to find this year. So they all came with Chinese fortunes. And for some reason, except for maybe 2 of them. We couldn't seem to pull them out. So you have 2 fortunes this year. One is a Chinese fortune, and the other is an affirmation for your coming year. And who knows, they might both be important to you. So when we start the music, I want you to take a moment to be very mindful as you come up, starting with the front row and then going around back. And just consciously and gratefully take your paper, release it into the bowl. All right, so does everybody have it? I think one person more is getting it right now, because we don't want to leave no person left out. No person left behind. We want to leave 21 behind. That's it, right? All right, so do we have some music, Maestro? Okay. So I'm mindfully, consciously, gratefully releasing this forever.
Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. Think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I have is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before. Broken heart and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will, once more. And just as I did back then, I'm gonna rise again. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. So bring it on. Everything different.
Yay! That was wonderful. Didn't that feel good? Yay! Awesome. We have one more thing to do before the closing song and benediction, and that happens to be this. It's the first of the month. What does that mean? Birthdays! All right, we're celebrating everybody's January birthdays. If you're a January baby, and that includes my granddaughter down in Boca Raton, would you stand up, please? Yay, there's one, Suzanne! All right. All right, are we ready? Are we ready to play that? This is your virtual birthday cake. Hit it, Maestro. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you. And be sure and take extra fortunate cookies with you, okay? Because they're only good for this year. All right, thank you all. Now we're going to have a quick closing song, and it's by Amy Steinberg called One with Everything.
I'm gonna lay my burden down now. I'm gonna leave it on the ground. This freedom I am feeling, it can't be found when I'm looking down. I'm gonna climb up to the mountains, spread my wings and fly. All these blessings I am counting. I got more than all the stars in the sky. I got more than all the stars in the sky. I got more than all the stars in the sky. I feel light as a feather, floating on an angel's wing. I won't worry about the weather, 'cause I am one with everything. 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 This world is bright and holy. Heaven is in my sight. All my troubles try to find me, but they can't when I'm on this cosmic flight. I feel right everywhere now, and all I wanna do is sing. Not a single solitary care now. I am one with everything. 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 The awesome healing love can bring. We are one with everything. We are unstoppable, just like the wind. Anything is possible from God within. The root is good in each of us here. The nature of love is in everyone, everywhere. What spirit originates, spirit orchestrates. Willingness granted to create your fate. One power, one people under one sun. Peace, love, joy, freedom. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. This peace that penetrates me moves quicker than a laser beam. Now the devil cannot faze me, 'cause I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything.
Hey, everybody, we are so happy to be starting a new year with you. So we give thanks for this beautiful teaching that we take out into the world. We give thanks that we keep our attention on the right direction, and that with God, definitely all things are possible. And so it is. You matter. You matter.